Now that the war has ended after 9 long years and $800 billion spent, Iraqis are starting to adjust to their new everyday lives.
Our Nick Schifrin follows up with an actor-director that he met a few years back. He's now shooting film scenes he never would have thought possible.
U.S. troops are gone, and it's safe enough for Bashir al-Majid to take his family to the park. He is an actor and a movie director, but he never would have risked this scene a few years ago. We first met him in 2008. The country was just emerging from terrible sectarian violence. Most of the time, he and his family stayed inside. There is death on the streets, he said back then. The worst thing is to have death as a daily part of life. Dr. Moyad also knew death. In 2008, his neighborhood was infested with Al-Qaeda. But he took an incredible risk. He helped the Americans clean it up, literally. First the trash, then the IEDs.
Trash is the first step to improvement the security. The trash worker are the first people to start watching to us against the IEDs and the bad guys.
His personal courage is a remarkable trait about him. He works closely with us. He's a friend, more than anything, really.
And this is Dr. Moyad today. He is thriving. He's building the area's only hospital.
Waiting room for the patient.
His neighborhood is safe.
Here we are after 4 years, and I'm happy when I see my people turn back. The market's open, the school is open, and there's big progress in my community.
Bashir has come even further. In 2008, he had no work, so he drove a taxi to support his family. Today, he drives a very different car. His 1957 Oldsmobile is almost all original. It was once owned by Iraq's king, then one of Saddam Hussein's sons. But despite his progress, Bashir is worried about the future. The coalition that leads the Iraqi government is splitting apart, leading to demonstrations just outside of Baghdad. Bashir doesn't trust that the politicians will overcome sectarian differences. The U.S. should stay close, he says, in case things go badly. Dr. Moyad is also worried about Iraqi frustration.
Separate generator.
His hospital has no power. In Baghdad, the majority lack basic services, especially electricity. 90% use generators. This country is still shattered in so many ways.
The war is not only by fighting. The war by rebuilding is war by teaching the non-educated Iraqi. There is a more difficult war waiting the government.
As these two men show, Iraq is much better off today than in 2008. But while the war is over for the U.S., it's not over for the people who still live here. Nick Schifrin, ABC News, Baghdad.
I mean, that is the ultimate barometer for our success in Iraq. You know, what exactly did we leave behind? Did we leave them better off? I think it's still a big question mark.
And I think it's interesting that one of them said the U.S. should stay close.
Right. And that's the thing. We don't want to end up back there, but we may if the country kind of collapses. So a lot of questions still remain, but at least the troops are home.
But somewhat hopeful.
Yeah,
somewhat hopeful.
Yeah.